Hey, this is Rahul from RWR.com and welcome to the Apache 200 4V review. Now, the TVS Apache was launched in the year of 2007 and my god, we have evolved so far from then. The design has completely changed. It's a complete street fighter look. I love the angular lines and the matte black paint is doing all the more justice to it. I'd seen the red version in Auto Expo and honestly I think the matte red looked a little bit hotter, but this is that stealth black look, that all black murdered out version. First things first, when I got onto the bike, very comfortable on the ergonomics, very wide seats for both the rider and the pillion, and the foot pegs, well, it looks sporty but the foot pegs are like a normal commuter bike, so it doesn't really feel that aggressive while you're on the bike, though it looks pretty aggressive. The console will really take all of your attention, so please concentrate on the road. It's a nice console, lots of features there. I'll go through all of that in detail, but I really like the white background on it. If you're taking a look on the motorcycle, it's like the tires are coming up with TVS tires. So if you're wondering what is the grip level on TVS tires, because a lot of people are kind of worried, I really did not feel any problems with it. It's almost as same as the performing as the MRF ones. Now these are absolutely spankingly brand new tires, so it might change a little bit as the life progresses. Now moving on to the performance. If you're thinking that what is the main difference, like coming from a 150cc motorcycle or a 125cc motorcycle from where you would be upgrading to this, I'd say there's a lot of significant more amount of power when you're riding something like this. So it's 20.7 bhp of power, right? But it feels really a lot more than that because the sprocketing is kind of designed in a way that gives you a lot of power right from the word go. So if you're thinking that you'd be doing a lot of 0 to 60s city traffic, there this bike will shine. The top end, not so much. I really like the gear ratios as well. They're very well spaced out, and if you're talking about the torque, about 18 Newton meters of torque on this motorcycle, and because of the lighter weight, it's about 148 kg wet. So with the lighter weight, I think it really comes out very nicely. Like on the performance department, I cannot find any faults with this motorcycle. 200cc has a lot of go attached to it. One more thing is, when I was riding the Pulsar series of bikes like the RS200 or the AS150, I found that there was a sort of a throttle response delay. On this bike, it doesn't happen. It's instantaneous, and like I said, it's a lot more power than a 150cc. So which kind of brings me to the pricing calculation, that it's around 1,15,000 on road, which would be about say 15 to 20,000 more than the premium 150cc class bikes. If you want power and if you can afford it with a little bit of lesser mileage, go for it, because you definitely enjoy this. I always complain about the low end power on the 150cc class bikes. On this one, it's not there at all. It's perfect. It's just the amount of power you'd want on city, which will feel a little bit, maybe a little less adequate on the highway, but it's still leaps and bounds better than a 150cc class. So the performance is really good. Honestly, I was a little apprehensive about TVS bikes. After riding this one, I'd say I'm rather impressed. When you're watching a Ride with Rahul review, you'd probably know that I'd be going a lot more detail in the handling department, because I'm a very finicky guy about the handling. The front end is heavier on this bike, which is exactly what I like. It's not a 50-50 weight distribution. It's front biased, so the cornering, while you're cornering the bike, you get a lot of feedback from the front end, which is just the way I like it. And the rear end is lighter, so that has a positive thing while you're cornering. And even in city, the flickability is absolutely perfect. I mean, even on higher speed, if you're flicking the bike, it's really easy to do that. Even on lower speed, the handlebars have a lot of give, and the height, the height of the handlebars, it's raised clip-on bars, much like the Bajaj bikes, but I find that the height is perfect. On the Bajaj Pulsar AS 150, I found the height to be too much, so on this one they managed to do it pretty well, not compromising too much on comfort, but at the same time giving you that cornering feedback and feel, which is something I really enjoyed. So let's talk about braking. I've already mentioned that the motorcycle is front biased, so the front brake gives a lot of feedback. It's a 270mm pedal disc up front. It has a lot of feedback, a ton of bite, and honestly, I was using it most of the time. When I was using the rear brake, I really did not like it. The rear end's light. It's got a 240mm disc, and it's really locking up very easily. So most of the braking on a sport bike is 70% on the front, so you should be using a lot more on the front brake and you should be fine, because really not much to complain about the braking department. A lot better than some of the other bikes which I've ridden in this class. So TVS has done a good job in braking, and I'm already impressed with the handling, which gets us to the final words and the verdict of the Apache 204V. Now, they have really moved forward on a lot of departments. I really like the chassis, the frame, how the weight distribution's done there. If you're talking about the engine part, a lot of refinement there, good gear ratios, as I've already talked about. Hard to find faults with this bike actually, which is very bad, because it makes it kind of sound like a biased review, but honestly it isn't. One thing I would like to mention is that while I was riding the motorcycle on the higher speeds, I instinctively reached for the 6th gear and it wasn't there. So a taller 6th gear would have really helped in the high speed highway cruising, so that was kind of disappointing that it has only 5 gears. And the suspension, it has a lot of travel, so on corners where you are having a little bit of bad road condition, the bike can actually wobble. I did not face it because the road conditions here are superb, but I think it can be a problem for those who ride aggressively. But for our Indian road conditions, it's really good, so I can't really complain about that. There is one complaint about it. This is the carburetor version. TVS was supposed to launch an FI version, and the Pirelli tires were supposed to be optional. Now my subscriber Vishal, he actually wanted to buy the flagship version, but it's not available on sale. So TVS, if you could please launch the Pirelli tires version. I'm not complaining about these tires honestly, but I think it will make the motorcycle a lot more attractive, and the handling will improve greatly. As we know, it's a lot of tire game in there. So the FI version is not there, the Pirelli tires are not there, and there was talk of ABS as well. That's not available yet. So I think TVS should really make this product a lot better by launching that version. And I think tires will wear out, so next time you can always put in Pirellis, but the FI thing should be immediately made available, and the ABS, because I think ABS on this bike will really make a huge difference. It will be a nice bike to cruise on the highway with the ABS helping you in case you screw up or if the conditions demand. So if I want some accessories on this bike, definitely I could have some accessories, maybe a windscreen for the touring people. And really I'm nitpicking right now because I couldn't find much faults with this motorcycle. Honestly, I'm impressed. I like it. I would say that TVS in past we had some problems with TVS. They had problems in their ABS systems, and somehow buyers did not like the build quality. After a few years, the bikes used to feel a lot less than what they were when they were new. If you've ridden TVS bikes before, you know what I'm talking about. But with this one, I really hope that they have improved that part, because fit and finish wise, it feels very well built together. Really a nice product, you know. I would want this motorcycle to succeed. It's not really high priced. This is the base version. It's around 1,15,000 on road, so easy to upgrade, you know, if you're wanting the power, if you don't mind the mileage drop. I think the mileage would be around 35 kilometers per liter. But that is the TVS Apache RTR 204V for you. Thanks for watching. I really think that if you're buying a motorcycle in the 200cc class, you should consider this before buying the others. Thanks for watching. I'll see you very soon. This is Rahul. Goodbye. So this is Vishal, and he's joining our group after he gets a bit of a riding gears. So if you want to see more of the Apache RTR 204V, we're going to be doing a lot of squad riding videos, and our group ride videos will be there. So if anything develops with the motorcycle, we'll also be updating that. Thanks for the opportunity, and we will be seeing you a lot more on our channel. So hit that red thing over there, something called the subscribe button. Go ahead.